I made this evergreen wall hanging a couple years ago. It was one of my first times experimenting with these bobble stitches and making shapes with them. And I really liked it as a wall hanging. So when I started making blankets this year, I knew I wanted to use this design and convert it into a blanket. So that is what I've done. I've made a blanket with evergreen trees all over it using bobble stitches and single crochets. And that is what we will be learning how to make today. Before we get going, we need to gather our materials. So for this project, you'll use worsted weight yarn. I used this cotton yarn. It's Lily Sugar and Cream in the color Sage. And then a 5mm H hook, a pair of scissors for cutting the yarn, and a yarn needle for weaving in the ends. Since this blanket uses a repeat of the same tree design over and over again, you can make it in lots of different sizes. So you'll need different amounts of yarn depending on what size blanket you make. So you can estimate how much yarn you'll need by using the formula that's provided over here to the left. Now that we have our materials, we can start crocheting our blanket. So to begin, we'll make a slip knot and place the loop on our hook. And then we're going to chain a multiple of 22 plus 2 more. And whatever multiple of 22 you use, that's the number of trees that you're going to have going across your blanket. For the first row of the blanket, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each chain across. And the number of single crochets you have at the end of this row should be equal to one less than the number of chains that you made. Now I'm going to turn my work, and to start row 2, I'm going to make a chain and then single crochet in the very first stitch. Now from here, I'm going to start the 22 stitch sequence that you can see is enclosed in brackets, which will be repeated all the way across the row. So the first stitch is a bobble, which is represented by the bee. So to make our bobble stitch, we're essentially going to make 5 double crochets together into the back loop only of a single stitch. So to do that, we'll yarn over, insert our hook into the back loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through two loops. And then we're going to repeat that same thing 4 more times. So yarn over, insert the hook into the same back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Again, we'll yarn over, insert the hook into the same space, yarn over, pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Again, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And now one more time, we yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. So at this point, you should have 6 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And to finish the bobble stitch, you're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 loops on the hook. And that's 1 bobble. The next stitch we have is a single crochet, which we'll make in the very next stitch. Now you can see that bobble single crochet sequence is enclosed in asterisks, which means that that little sequence is going to be repeated. You'll see we're going to do that 11 times, which will bring us to the end of that 22 stitch sequence. For row 3, I'm bringing in my yarn bowl to try to wrangle my unruly yarn. And we're just going to chain and then single crochet in each stitch across. For row 4, I'm going to start with a chain and a single crochet in the first stitch. And then for our 22 stitch sequence that we'll be repeating, we'll start with a single crochet, and then we have bobble single crochet 10 times, and then another single crochet at the end. For the next row, we'll chain 1 and then single crochet in each stitch across. The next row, we start with a chain and a single crochet in the first stitch, and then for our 22 stitch sequence that we repeat, we're going to make 2 single crochets, and then we'll bobble single crochet 9 times, and then make 2 more single crochets at the end. The next row is another row where we start with a chain and then single crochet in each stitch across. For the next row, we start with our chain and a single crochet, and then our 22 stitch sequence is 3 single crochets, and then bobble single crochet 8 times, and then 3 more single crochets. For the next row, we will chain and single crochet in each stitch across. For the next row, we start with a chain and a single crochet, and then our 22 stitch sequence will be 4 single crochets, and then bobble single crochet 7 times, and then 4 more single crochets. For the next row, we'll chain 1 and single crochet all the way across. You can see we now have 5 rows of bobbles, which makes up the bottom third of our tree. So now we'll start working on the second tier of our tree. So for the first row of that, we'll start with a chain and a single crochet. And then for our 22 stitch repeat, we'll have 3 single crochets and then bobble single crochet 8 times, and then 3 more single crochets. For the next row, we'll chain and then single crochet all the way across. For the next row, we'll start with a chain and a single crochet. And then for the 22 stitch sequence, we're going to single crochet 4 and then make a bobble and a single crochet 7 times, and then make 4 more single crochets. The next row starts with a chain, and then we'll make single crochets in each stitch across. The next row starts with a chain and a single crochet, and then for the 22 stitch sequence that will repeat, we're going to single crochet 5 and then bobble single crochet 6 times, and then make another 5 single crochets. Our next row will be a chain and then single crochet in each stitch across. Our next row starts with a chain and a single crochet, and then for our 22 stitch sequence that we repeat all the way across, we're going to make 6 single crochets and then bobble single crochet 5 times, and then make 6 more single crochets. Our next row will be a chain and then a single crochet in each stitch across. The next row starts with a chain and a single crochet, and then for the 22 stitch sequence, we will make 7 single crochets and then bobble single crochet 4 times, and then make 7 more single crochets. The next row starts with a chain, and then we single crochet in each stitch across. We've now finished the second tier of our tree, so we have just one tier left. The next row starts with a chain and a single crochet, and then for the 22 stitch repeat, we will make 6 single crochets and then bobble single crochet 5 times, and then make 6 more single crochets. Our next row starts with a chain and then we'll single crochet in each stitch across. Our next row starts with a chain and a single crochet in the first stitch, and then our 22 stitch sequence is 7 single crochets, and then bobble single crochet 4 times, and then 7 more single crochets. For the next row, we will chain and then single crochet in each stitch across. For the next row, we will chain and single crochet in the first stitch. And then for the 22 stitch sequence, we're going to single crochet 8 and then bobble single crochet 3 times and then single crochet 8 again. The next row starts with a chain, and then we'll single crochet in each stitch across. The next row will start with a chain and a single crochet, and then for our 22 stitch sequence, we're going to single crochet 9 and then bobble single crochet twice and then single crochet 9 again. For the next row, we will chain and then single crochet in each stitch across. And for the next row, we will start with a chain and a single crochet. And then for our 22 stitch sequence that we'll be repeating, we're going to single crochet 10 and then make just 1 bobble stitch and then single crochet 11. And now for the last row that we're going to work together, we'll chain and then single crochet in each stitch across. And with that, we've made it to the top of our tree. So from here on out, you're going to repeat rows 1 through 31 all the way until you get to the end of your blanket. Once you've finished making all your trees, we're going to finish off the blanket with a simple single crochet border. So as you can see, I am dangerously low on green, so I've brought in this red, white, and green yarn to work the border. So for the border, we're going to start with a chain, and then we'll start working down the side of our blanket, and you're just going to single crochet in the side of each row. When you get to the bottom row, you're going to make 2 single crochets in that final space. And then from there, you're going to turn your work 90 degrees and you're going to single crochet in the bottom of each chain across. And when you get to the last space, you're going to work 2 single crochets in that space. And then from there, you'll rotate your work And now we're working into the sides of our rows again, and you're going to single crochet in the side of each row. And in that top row, you're going to make 2 single crochets in that space. And finally, for the last side of the border, we're going to turn to work across the top. And we're just going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch across. And when you get to that last stitch, we'll make 2 single crochets, and then we're going to join to the first single crochet of the border using a slip stitch. Now that we have the border, you can cut your yarn, leaving at least 6 inches so you'll be able to weave it in. And then you can tie off. And then you'll want to use your yarn needle to weave in any loose ends. Once all your ends are sewn in, you've officially finished your blanket. So thank you for crocheting with me today, and I hope you enjoy your evergreen throw.